Introduction of volumetric analysis are any method of quantitative chemical analysis in which the amount of a substance is determined by measuring the volume that it occupies. Besides that, this method involves measurement of the volume of a solution whose concentration of the analyte. In other words, measuring the volume of a certain substance that combined with the first in non-proportion is known as a volumetric analysis or titration. Type of volumetric analysis. Volumetric analysis can be classified into three types. There are simple titrations, back titrations, and double titration. I will explain about simple titration first. Simple titration is a technique where a solution of non-concentration is used to determine the concentration of an unknown solution, while back titration is a technique where the concentration of an analyte is determined by reacting it with a known amount of excess reagent. The remaining excess reagent is then titrated with another reagent. Double titration is a technique can be used to know the volume of an unknown acid or base. The technique includes adding a known quantity of one acid or base to a known volume of the other until the reaction reaches neutralization.
Volumetric analysis in food industry. In theory, volumetric analysis is a chemical analytical procedure that based on the measurement of volume of reaction in solution. An analytical technique that widely being used in the food industry is titration. It allows food manufacturers to determine the quantity of a reactant in a sample. For example, precipitation titration that can be used to determine salt content in the food product. Next is redox titration that can be used to measure the amount of vitamin C in orange juice. And lastly is acid or base titration that commonly used to determine the acidity of fruit juice.
Methodology. First, you need to add the titrant into the burette. Then, use volumetric pipette to add analyte into the conical flask. After that, add 2 to 3 drops of indicator into the conical flask. Next, open the stopcock of the burette to allow the titrant out of the burette drop by drop. At the same time, swirl the conical flask to make sure the reactant mix well. Lastly, observe the color change of the indicator. If there has any color change in the conical flask, that means you have reached the end point. So, you need to record the final volume of titrant.
I will continue this presentation with my part. So, for my part, I will explain about what is the example of the titration. The example that we are used is determination of acetic acid in vinegar. So, for the first procedure is we need to pipette 10 ml of the given vinegar. So we need to record the type of vinegar before start the experiment. Next, we need to dilute to melt with distilled water in a 100 ml volumetric flask. And then we need to pipette 20 ml of this dilute vinegar solution into 250 conical flasks. So for the third step, we need to add 2 or 3 drops of phenolphthalein. It can help to indicate the changes of the colors. So for the fourth step, which is the very important step, we need to titrate the vinegar in the conical flask with the sodium hydroxide from the burette slowly while shaking the flask until the indicator changes the colors. After that, we need to record the reading of the endpoint of the titration. During this, we need to ensure that eyes must be perpendicular to the skin. So, this is the example of the result that we will get when we are doing this experiment. So, for the final step, we need to repeat step 2 and step 3 for 2 or more times. After we fulfill all the data, we need to calculate the percent of weight of acetic acid in the vinegar sample.
So let's see the advantages and disadvantages of volumetric analysis. The advantages is volumetric analysis is simple and cost-effective method. Then there are no high skill required to handle it. Then it fast and give accurate results. Then the last one is the reaction can be identified visually at the endpoint or equilibrium point. Then for the disadvantages, there are pH, temperature, and humidity are the factors that can affect the titration results because it is an open system. Then, human error may occur during processing and may affect the accuracy. The third one is and volumetric analysis requires indicator for the reaction to occur. The last one, produce large volume of chemical residues that need to be. So now, let's jump to the conclusion. The first one, volumetric analysis is to determine the quantity of a reactant in a sample. Then there are three types of volumetric analysis. There are simple titration, back titration, and double titration.
Accurate and reliable titration method are high-quality volumetric solutions and accurate, high-purity standards for a correct and reliable titer determination. Overall, volumetric analysis is a vital process in the field of chemistry. It allows for accurate and precise measurement to be made of unknown substances.